Thanks for those that are joining us. We're excited to offer another monthly program event for the WMBA. And Tanya is our programs director this year, as you guys know, and we're thrilled with the content and the caliber of people she's already bringing to our association. Today we have John Cheplak. He's a renowned speaker, leader, motivator. And again, we're so fortunate for all of you guys to take time out of your day to spend it with us. And hopefully you get something valuable from this, and look forward to future events here at the WMBA. And without further ado, I'm going to pass this off to Tanya to give a quick intro, and we're looking forward to it. So thanks again, guys. I'll sign off for now. Thanks.
Hello, everybody at the WMBA. First, I want to thank you for your support of the WMBA. Your attendance at our monthly meetings and participation in membership is key to the success of our organization. And we have a great program ahead for you. We're welcoming John Cheplak. John brings over 34 years of practical applied real estate experience as a successful agent and an executive that led a multi-office in-state real estate company. He has spent the last 19 years as a speaker, coach, strategic leadership consulting, working with presidents, CEOs, managers, and agents of residential real estate companies, and loan officers and branch managers of mortgage companies throughout the world, focused on operating a highly productive, growth-oriented business. For the past 2 years, he has coached the #1 loan officer in the United States, and just this morning had a meeting with the #1 loan officer in the United States, and also works with one of the top real estate agents just named in the United States as well. So check John out at cheplaklive.com. That link's also in the invite. And today we want to thank Ron Alford of Southwestern Coaching and Rich Hunt, our new member of Home Trust, for sponsoring this event. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, John. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tanya. It's a privilege to be here. And thank you, each and every one of you that are taking your valuable time. One of the things I know is that is super valuable, and it's something you can't get back. One of the things, just so you know, from a backfill of everything that I do share with you is, as Tanya had shared, is I walked the path as a leader. And my last job, we had 100 offices, real estate offices in 3 states, and we had 2 loan officers, and I was paid directly on conversion. So within the in-house mortgage relationships, we had to hit a 30% conversion on all buyer controlled transactions. In my last 19 years, currently, I have in coaching, as you mentioned, I've coached gentlemen, and I'm going to share with you. Anyone want to see the marketing of the #1 loan officer in the United States of America? Well, we don't have screens on. What is it with loan officers? You guys don't like no one puts screens on. I gotta give you guys a bad time, but that's okay. Anyways, I'm going to thumbs up. Mindy says, call them out. All right, there's Don, right? Come on, there we go. I'm going to tease y'all. How many of y'all are here? I'm going to help y'all in leadership. How many of y'all are leaders? Any of you guys leaders? Lead some. Okay, good. So I'm going to challenge you. Okay, would you want your real estate agents or your loan officers coming to a meeting with a black bag on their head? No, right? So think about that one too. Okay, it's like, oh, this guy doesn't even know us. He's going to call us out. But listen, I'm here to give you guys tremendous value. A couple things that I want to share with you. I'm going to share with you overarching marketing principles that you've probably heard, but then I'm going to share with you an example of how it is working. And this is across both industries. I'm fortunate to work with #1 teams in the world on the real estate side and #1 guy in the mortgage business. And again, they're doing the work, but I'm fortunate enough to ride along with them. And the first thing that I want to go to with y'all, and I've worked with numerous mortgage people throughout the year, and one of the things I want to share with you guys is this, and many of you may know it, many of you may not, but the #1 marketing vehicle is social media. Yes, we've heard that over and over again, but the bottom line is this, is there's 2 things you need to do. You need to write this down. You need to get a message to market match. What is your message to market match? Okay. But before you get your message to market match, okay, the first thing is who is my avatar? So before you guys, when you guys walk away from this, Could you define to me who my avatar is? Okay. As a loan officer, is it a real estate agent that's closing X to Y transactions? Okay. Or is a leader of a branch, who is my exact avatar that I'm looking to recruit? And you guys, the principles are universal, because watch this. We are all, write this down, we're all in the enrollment business. I enroll brokers, owners, managers, CEOs, loan officers, branch managers of offices to come to my training, to coach with me, to come to my events. Okay. A leader of a real estate team, a real estate office, or a mortgage branch. Guess what? You're enrolling people to join you. But then guess what's happening on the sales side? Enrolling buyers and sellers, people to fill out loan apps, people to close loans. We are all in the enrollment business. And so the principles are universal. So here's some things I want to help you with. And think of this: if you're someone that needs to recruit talent, if you're a leader, your number one job is recruiting. Period. End of discussion. End of discussion. You know, the number one reason that most leaders can't hold people to standards, and I'm talking about independent contractors, well, you can't hold them to a standard. Sure you can. 100% you can. Because as long as you're constantly recruiting and bringing in great talent, see, people want to be a part of something that's growing. Most leaders are hostages in their leadership role because they don't have talent that continues to come in. So they're a hostage to that. Okay. So number one, who is my ideal? Could you articulate to me right now who my ideal customer is? Whether it's in recruiting or whether it's the consumer. Okay. Number two, what is my message? The biggest mistake people make is they don't get their message right. I'm going to give you guys a great example, and I want you to look at this because, you know, I'd spent my time in the real estate business, but to be able to work at a high level, I had to go outside of our industry and look at true marketing. And I want you guys after this Zoom to go watch, if you haven't watched them before, they're funny, Dollar Beard Club. So if you look at the Dollar Beard Club videos on YouTube, it was a spoof on the Dollar Shave Club. Okay. I'm really good friends with Chris Stoikos. He's the blonde guy that gets up in the warehouse. He made a $900 video that sold $12 million in beard oil in 11 months. Well, come on, John. What does that have to do with what we do? It's marketing. He got his message right. His website was broken. His merchant account was broken. He didn't run the right Facebook ads, but the message will always win. So really look at that and write this down. Here's a rule in marketing. Meet people where they're at. Enter the conversation going on in their head. Here's what I want you to think about. You know the big mistake we make in marketing? That sounds really good, Tanya. Don't you think? It really does, John. Let's go for it. It doesn't matter what we think. It matters what our audience thinks. So I want you to think about this when you're looking at that avatar, okay, and you're looking at your message to market match. What's the number one thing that keeps them up at night right now? What is the number one thing? And here's what I would say. Their biggest fears, challenges, and frustrations. Their biggest fears, challenges, and frustrations. Because part of your messaging, think about this. Every choice we make is based on the words that we hear or the words that we read. If I get my message right, I'm going to win every single time. And so here's one of the things that I really want you guys to focus on is this: copywriting. When you leave this Zoom, next time you go to the grocery store and you're in line, you know those crazy magazines that the National Enquirer and all that stuff? I grab them off the rack constantly. Okay. You want to know why? The person that writes the headlines for those magazines are some of the highest paid people on the planet. They have one job: to get you to grab that and purchase it. Write this down. We live in a 3-second world. We live in a 3-second world. We've got to write this: create curiosity and urgency in all of our messaging. Think about everything that you post, every message that you send, every bit of follow-up. Am I creating curiosity and urgency, curiosity and urgency? But here's what the foundation has to be in all of our marketing messaging. These three: constantly educate, demonstrate, and inform. Does my marketing message educate, demonstrate, and inform? Rates are at an all-time low. That message is tired, right? I mean, think about when you see that real estate agents, they were so embarrassing this year. If there's real estate agents on, you'll get this. How many times did you see real estate agents post in the last year, sold for $1 bajillion over list price? I mean, are people at night thinking about that? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. We won a battle of 5,475 offers and ours got accepted. Okay. Here's what I want you guys to do in your marketing. Be the hero. Excuse me, be the guide, not the hero. I want you to think about this. The person that reaches out to you, okay, they want to be the hero. It's the hero's journey. And there's this fine line in our marketing, right? Is so much of it is, sure, we want to share with people the results that we get, the experience, but here's what I want you to think about is this. Talk about your results through stories. Talk about your results through stories. And let me give you just a quick example, okay? Open up any messaging that you put out there, whether it's to your sphere of influence, your database, on social media. Mr. and Mrs. Jones came to me in January, and they had this dream to buy a home, and they had challenges in the past because of ABC and XYZ. And what we did is we did ABC so they could XYZ, and they were able to accomplish this. Something simple like that. Tell stories, stories sell. Because remember this, you guys, everyone wants to buy, no one wants to be sold. Everyone wants to buy, no one wants to be sold. Here's the other thing that I want you guys to think about too. It's the number one objection that we don't focus on enough. And it's called sales skepticism. There's so much training on presentation skills and how to handle an objection and all those type of things. But who's ever taught us how to overcome the biggest objection on the planet? Sales skepticism. And let me give you an example of it. And remember this, both the consumer, okay, the consumer has a script and so does the salesperson. There's two scripts. Next time you all go into Nordstrom's, or you've been there before, you walk into the shoe store, the shoe department. What does the shoe salesperson say to you? Can I help you? And what do you say? Just looking. Well, wait a minute. Was that, I mean, you're in the shoe department, you're just looking? No. See, here's what happened, right? Sales skepticism. So I want you to write this down in the future, okay? I want you to always handle objections in advance. Rookie salespeople wait for the objection, and then they use their latest, trickiest objection handler that's like lobbing a softball to the consumer, and it's like, okay, cheese ball, I've heard this one before, right? Another homework assignment for you to do. So A, we're looking at who is my ideal customer? Who is my avatar? Okay. What is the message? Craft a message that handles what keeps them up at night, their greatest fears, doubts, and concerns. Okay. Now we start taking a look at how do I handle objections in advance. Tonight, the next thing I want you to do, I want you to write down every objection you've ever heard. So for example, any of you that are on screen, any of you do any recruiting? Or are you guys all LOs? Oh, awesome, good, we got some recruiters. So here is, and I call this the get comfy. The number one, this has been since 1998, the number one recruiting dialogue across the real estate industry and into the mortgage business. Hey, it's John Cheplak with ABC Mortgage. I know you're probably happy at your current company. Handle the objection in advance. I just wanted to let you know if anything changes, we would love to be your destination. We would love to be your destination. Handle the objection in advance. Future pace them to let them know I am an option. And that is the principle in play. And it has been absolutely hands down the best dialogue. So when we take a look at this, so that's talking about an actual recruiting call. So, but what works in enrolling people so that we can see sales skepticism? What's my number one objective? Well, am I going to use an objection handler on someone who has sales skepticism? Am I going to sell them out of sales skepticism? No, it's ridiculous. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, and write this down. See, the reason anyone says no to you is because you've not built enough trust. And here's how you build trust. Make deposits in the business relationship equity account. No from the consumer or from a prospect you're trying to recruit is the same thing as when we go to the ATM machine and we try and pull money out and nothing comes out. We've made no deposits. See, think about this. We're trying to get people to give us the most valuable thing that they have, their time. Think about it, their time, okay? And yet we've made no deposits. There's a couple laws that I want you to think about, and it all goes back to the basics of sales, okay? It's the law of fair exchange. I want you to think about this. Everywhere I am asking for something, have I given them something first? Everywhere and every time I ask for something, have I given them something first? Or am I going to a business relationship equity account that has no deposits in it? Have I made the deposit? The law of fair exchange and the law of reciprocity. Those are the things that I want working for me. So for example, a couple of loan officers that I'm working with right now that are going consumer direct, their number one objective, and I want to help you guys with this too. And by the way, you know, what I found when I started coaching directly LOs about 5 years ago, what I found is everyone living on LinkedIn, LinkedIn. Well, that's where the mortgage people go. Oh, okay, so watch this. Let's see, marketing 101. If that's where everyone's going, why don't I go somewhere else? You ever think about that? But that's where we go. You guys, ready? Twice as many eyeballs are on Facebook at 8 p.m. every night as watch a Super Bowl ad around the world. Now, raise your hand if I'm in the right room. Anyone here in the eyeballs and marketing game? Anyone here want more eyeballs? 100%. 100%. Now, let me take you into some further marketing pieces that we need to look at. We can get so siloed. It's like most 90% of loan officers that well, LinkedIn, that's where we do things. And yeah, I do a little bit of Facebook, a little bit of Instagram. It's like, okay, great. Well, those are the dinosaur days. I've got news for you. And I'm going to share with you an example of what number one is doing. And here's what I say to people. Good artists cheat, great artists copy. Good artists cheat, great artists copy. And you're going to be able to, after this, follow and see what someone is doing. So when we take a look at this, okay, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, email, the 4 most powerful marketing vehicles on the planet. Now, here's what I would say. You've got to be multi-channel. The days of attribution of where a piece of business came from is history. Do you know that 75% of all people check their email in the morning before they get out of bed? Proven. 90% have checked their social media before they hit the kitchen. Okay. Now, are you ready for the real kicker? Anyone that has never met you before and it's just a phone conversation, do you think they Google you first? Or do you think they go to your Facebook personal page and stalk you first? Like, raise your hand if you're a stalker. Any hand that doesn't go up is a liar. We all are stalkers. You guys, now watch this. But John, so stay with me on this. And these are the tiny hinges that'll swing big doors because people look past it. They look past the power of email. And I'm going to give you guys a tool to download. It's a free 1.5-hour Zoom that I did with framework of exactly how to do emails. Like, you guys, emails are the dragon slayer 100%. So think about this. See, we've got to think about outside of our industry. We've got to think about all the marketing vehicles that are out there. We have to think how people are trained, okay? We're trained how to behave. 10 years ago, not the TV show, but 10 years ago, TV changed dramatically. And does anyone know from 10 years plus forward what the #1 theme television shows have been now? Reality TV. Write this down. We pay for voyeurism. See, one of the things that I came to learn after being an operator is I needed to get more inside the head of the consumer, our audience. I had to know who my audience was. I had to know what keeps them up at night, and then I could nail my messaging, okay, with right copyright. And then I wanted to look at where the eyeballs were. Okay, first of all, it's social media. Secondly, though, the big one is on TV. It's reality TV. We pay for voyeurism. What do you mean we pay? Well, you pay with your time. You pay with your time, and look at the time people are putting in. Well, what's that have to do with marketing and what we're talking about here today, John? Well, because it has trained us to believe we get to see inside your life. And I will tell you this, we have done survey after survey after survey. In my group, I have an elite inner circle of 100 people I coach one-on-one, and they're all multi-million-dollar marketing spend people, okay? And survey after survey after survey gives us all of this data. 70% of all people are going to your personal Facebook page before they meet you. And guess what? If they go through and scan and don't get to see enough, they wonder if you're hiding something. And you may sit here and say, well, John, you know, business is different than personal. I got news for you. The lines are gray. You're going to tell me that you've done business with someone over time, they haven't become a friend. You're going to tell me that over time that you didn't have to get someone to know you, like you, trust you. What I want you guys to really get is the absolute power of these vehicles. You could, I promise you, if you do exactly what I say with the marketing message across these channels for the rest of this year into 2022 and did nothing else, it will be game over. And with the high level of folks, I get the privilege, believe me, it's a privilege to be here with you to work with. I can't puff that stuff out. I've got someone right now going from 425 million to 850 million. In 1 year, okay? I've got a number of people, and Tanya's seen a bunch of these people, their statistics, and you can't put those stats out there with the audience I have and have it be bull. I mean, you just can't. It's got to be real. So, #1, here's your homework assignment. I want you another one. I can just give you information, but I want you to do some work. I want you to do a 30-day audit of your personal Facebook page. Your personal one. And I want you to look at it and ask yourself, so if my ideal customer, my audience went and reviewed the last 30 days, what would it tell them about me? What would it tell them to Selena? I haven't even had it for 30 days. Well, Selena, welcome to Facebook. Good for you. You're here. Okay. What would it tell them about me? Now let me give you some framework to use, okay? You need to post things that are personal. And you can go look at mine and see mine. Mine is John Cheplak, JONCHEPLAK. You can also go to my Instagram, follow and see what's happening. And, you know, this may come across wrong, but I just want you to get the message. It's not ego. I run a multi-million-dollar net income business. I market to avatars like this. I spend $0 on marketing. All of my messaging is on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and email. $0. Okay. So the 3 things you want to post: something personal, something inspirational. Now stay with me. Oh, but John, everyone posts memes and quotes and inspirational stuff all the time. Don't let that get in the way. That's like saying everyone does video, and it's not true. And guess what? We're in a time and place in our world where, I mean, raise your hand if you think we need more inspiration and positivity today than ever on the planet. Yes, be a contributor to that. Be that person. I've got a great friend. You can follow him. I coached him, CEO of a company called iconmeals.com. And you know what? For 3 years, all he's ever sent me every morning and across his channels is a new inspirational post every day. Well, he stayed in that zone of positivity. And guess what? The UFC, I think we're familiar with that multi-billion-dollar company. They just stepped in and did a partnership with him. This guy who just started this small little company that was meal prep, sending it around the country to athletes. And you know what he did? He marketed on social media across all channels. No business is exempt. You can absolutely take over. Something business, something personal, something inspirational. Now, let me help you with the business side of things. Be educational, informational. Well, John, I don't know what content to use. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to constantly have your antenna up. Constantly have your antenna up and think about your interactions with the consumer during the week, every day. What are the questions that come up? What are the challenges that come up day to day? And use those as a teaching moment. The number one thing you want to do is build your authority score. Build your authority score. And the number one way to build your authority score is to educate and inform. To educate and inform. Now, what I want to share with you, and usually this makes people shiver, shaking their boots, okay, is what was that? Ha, yes, amen. They don't buy from their underlings. Okay. If you make video a part of your business, the only thing that will change in your life is everything, period. Loan officers, every Monday morning, I would go Facebook Live 100% immediately and do an update. Every morning, every Monday, a 9 a.m. update, mortgage update, like clockwork, nonstop. And I'm going to tell you something, the most productive people that I've worked with, they aren't the smartest, they're the most consistent. Commitment trumps talent every single time. Now, let me help you with why I say Facebook Live. So let's go back to TV, okay? Facebook wants to be TV. Facebook knows that reality TV is the #1 eyeball grabber. What's the closest to being reality? Facebook Live. The algorithm will reward you. And let me tell you how high tech you need to be. Ready? Hang on a minute. Let me turn my back here and introduce you to my video production company. And again, I hope that as I share these examples with you, it doesn't come across wrong as brag or ego. I'll share something with you. I have an event going on right now. We have 140 team leaders, broker owner managers flying into Las Vegas this Thursday and Friday. They're paying $2,600 ahead to come into the event, okay? We did the video to enroll people into this on an iPhone. And these are people that are ranked #1 in the world. The video is on Facebook, it's on Instagram, it's on YouTube, and it's emailed. And we're putting zero money behind these. Well, okay, that's easy, John. Then I can just promote and that's going to happen. No, but the reason I want you to know this, the reason we're able to do that though, is on a weekly basis, we are putting educational content across all channels. And so watch this, every morning, like when you wake up, be thinking about how can I educate my market? How can I educate my market? For example, that Monday morning, the Monday morning piece, the market update, here is your weekly mortgage market update brought to you by John Cheplak. And you set a tripod on your desk or you just do cell phone selfie mode. And now watch this. You take that same video and you move it over to Instagram and you put it on IGTV. You take that same video, you move it over to YouTube. As you all probably know, and if you don't, great, this is bonus time. Google owns YouTube. Every single word that you say on YouTube, on your video, goes into the Google search engines. Every single word that you say. Now, here's the fourth piece. And this is the most powerful tool with the highest ROI. You email that video to your entire database. You must email something educational and informational to your database once a week. Now, I want you to write this down. Actually, here's what I'm going to do so you guys can grab it. Email that converts replay.com. So you can grab that link that I just put in the chat. Okay. It's email that converts replay.com. And what I take you through is the content to put out there. I take you through how the structure of sending an email. If you will, on a weekly basis, do this one thing, one piece of video content a week that educates, demonstrates, or informs across all channels and including to your email database, you'll be unstoppable. Now, one of the things, though, that I want you to keep in mind, and you will find this because there's a couple things that come with that Zoom. There's a downloadable, and it's a free download. I'm not selling anything on it at all, okay? What will come with it is a document, and it's called the Email Framework Document. And it will share with you the specific way to write a subject line so your email gets open. It will share with you the specific framework for your email so that it actually gets read. What we've done is we have heat mapped emails to find out how people read their emails. So just think about this, keep this in mind. If an email is broken down in thirds, top third, middle third, bottom third, an email is read top third, bottom third, and middle third. And so what you're gonna find is you watch that Zoom webinar and look at that document, it's going to guide you on how to do email that works. Now, going forward, watch this. Just like you do that, watch the activity of that video that you do on a weekly basis, you're going to want to create a little spreadsheet that shows every week, what was the email subject line? What were my open rates? What was the email subject line? What were my open rates? And as you do this over the first 6 to 8 weeks, this is where you'll really find what your message to market match is, because open rates are you doing your recon work. You're going to find a certain message resonates. That's why I love email. Sure, we can look at the amount of likes and video views and things like that across all our channels, okay? Like, you know, engagement that I get on Instagram. Wow, these type of posts do really, really well. What can I do more in that message? Because that's my message to market match. That's my message to market match. Just like the guys at Dollar Beard Club, they got their message right. They nailed it. They didn't even have to spend any money to sell $11 million worth of beard oil. It went viral and it was game over, okay? They used entertainment in theirs. I don't suggest using entertainment because it can get a little bit dicey. So what you're going to want to do, and I call it the multi-channel marketing machine, one piece of content as a minimum that educates, demonstrates, or informs. The preferable piece is video, and I'm going to talk to you and give you guys some scientific data on video that'll blow your mind. Most people, maybe not this group, are terrified of video. Here's what I've learned. The thing I'm most terrified, and the thing that I don't want to do, always gets me the biggest results, right? Think about that. Stepping through doorways of fear and discomfort is where the victories are every single time. So you're going to create that weekly piece of video content. You're going to send it across Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You're going to email it, okay? Now, let me give you some framework on your video. Simple steps. Number one, when you do a video, don't introduce yourself first. Open with a hook. It's a 3-second world. Now I'm going to come back to the framework here in just a second, but I want to share some statistics with you. Any of you familiar with the, oh my gosh, the Nielsen Rating Company? They're the ones that decide that a Super Bowl ad costs $5 bajillion for 0.1 seconds. They rate the eyeballs. They were so fascinated by the power of video. I'm going to tell you guys something right now. I guarantee you, if you had a choice between time or money? Which one you wanted most? I guarantee you, you'd want more time. And when you use a tool that has more impact, you don't have to reach out or sell as much because of the psychological impact that video has. So Nielsen Rating Company, this video thing is fascinating. We want to study it. You know what they found out? The impact on purchase intent of someone that consumes your video goes up 40% after they consume 3 seconds of your video. 3-second rule. The impact of purchase intent in someone that consumes 10 seconds of your video goes up to 70%, straight from the Nielsen Rating Company. Now watch this. I want to help you with your conversions, your marketing, your messaging. Think about this. How much body language is in a phone call, an email, or a text message? Well, I mean, I can jump around on the phone, but you can't see my body language, right? 55% of the impact of communication is body language. Do you realize if you're not using video consistently, you're losing 55% of the impact of communication? It's very interesting. We spend all this time on scripts and dialogues and objection handler and sales training and all that stuff. When you know what? It proves again, maybe talent isn't as important as action. The right action. The right action will always outperform talent. 55% impact of communication. So I'm going to share some things for you to do. Number one, that piece of content that you're going to do weekly, it's got to be video, 100%. Okay. There's this thing called parasocial behavior. In the 1970s, they studied how come women are so connected to soap operas back in the 70s. And they studied and they discovered this thing called parasocial behavior. They saw themselves in the role. They felt they built a relationship with the people. Have you ever felt that way? Saw yourself? There's probably some people that have watched 24 or Yellowstone. We see ourselves in the role. So there's this thing called parasocial behavior. It creates deep psychological and emotional bonds. Well, John, what's that have to do with video? Everything. The unconscious brain cannot discern the difference between a moving head on a cell phone, a desktop, a laptop, an iPad. It is all processed as TV. The number one way to build authority is through TV, and you've got your TV right here in your hands. It is right here. I'm going to give you another piece because it's so important that you guys capture this. And you know what? I just know, and you may say, John, that's pretty judgmental, but I do this enough to know that I am moving when, how about when your landscaper comes in right when you're in the middle of a Zoom? But I'll just keep on going. I've done this enough times. Okay. So there's iconic recall and echoic recall. So here's what I want you to know. Anything that enters the brain through the eyes is iconic recall. It dissipates in 1/100th of a second. 1/100th of a second. Anything that enters the brain through the eyes and the ears is echoic recall. It stays in the brain 5/100ths of a second. That is a 500% greater staying power. And you may say, John, why are you getting into these little things? Because here's what I know, what I've learned. It is always the tiny hinges that swing big doors. Every single time. Tiny hinges that swing big doors. And wow. This is, hang on. The things you don't plan during the Zoom. There we are. Okay. So to recap, if you want to change everything, make it video 100%. Now what I'm going to do is I've been talking to you about these principles, okay? And I'm going to take you real life through an Instagram page of someone who's delivering the results. We've coached now together for 2 years. So it's taking these principles that I've been sharing with you and let's go there right here. And the beauty is afterwards, you guys can take a look at it. So you can see number one loan officer nationwide, Shant Banazian, Okay. And you know, what I say is this: good artists cheat, great artists copy. We've got, let's see, a chat came in here. Video post on personal. Oh, very good, Christina. Is video post on personal or business Facebook page. So here's the perfect world. Post it on your personal page. The mistake people make is they'll post it on their business page and then they'll share it over. I want you to do a native upload on both pages. Now, here's what I would do though. If you're targeting real estate agents, I would do a simple boost of that video, $5 a day. You don't need to spend a bunch of money, okay? And I would target real estate agents. If you're going after real estate agents, target real estate agents. If you're not going after real estate agents, you're just going for the general consumer, just do something that's a radius search, or excuse me, a radius targeting. So let's go take a look here. And ready, you guys? Good artists cheat, great artists copy. This is someone's worked with me for years. So, okay, reviews, Google reviews, highlighting employees. Here's one of the biggest things, okay? Oh, listing lookbook. So what he will do is he'll share the different listings that have come up. Here's another one we'll take a look at. An endorsement. I don't want to take too much time taking you guys through this. You can all go on Instagram, and I want you to study, and you can look at these pieces up here: market, buyer tips, souls for souls, his team. You'll see here video. He's taking them inside their world, taking action shots, showing them real life, doing the work, more featured listings. Humanize yourself. Humanize. Here's this guy that's #1 business, but humanizing. And look at here too. Oh my gosh, he's not professional. He's in a t-shirt. Humanize yourself. Like the person that shows up as they are is the person that wins. Market updates. Here you are with market updates. He's doing webinars that educate and inform his audience. Okay. Featured listings again. But again, go ahead and you guys can take a look on his Instagram. And here's his mid-market update. When they do community service things, showing that. Like, you get to have an experience of this human being. You guys see, just real quickly, are you guys seeing how he's humanizing himself? You're allowed to have an experience of him. See, here's what I want you guys to think about in marketing. I want people to have an experience of what it's going to be like to work with me before they work with me. Write that down. I want to have people to have an experience of what it's going to be like to work with me before they work with me. I want them to see all aspects of what I'm about. He's showing that St. Jude's is his #1. He was telling me this morning on our coaching call, he said he had a young man reach out to him. He says, and the guy, you know, he gets DMs all the time. Everyone wants to talk to the #1 guy. And he said, and the guy opened the DM, I will pay you $1,000 for 15 minutes. He said, he responded back to him and he said, I'm going to give you 30 minutes and I want you to send $1,000 to St. Jude's. But it's people seeing what he's doing. The young man felt, you know, I mean, here's someone that someone could be intimidated by. You guys, humanize yourself. I will promise you, if you keep communication, and you got some great ideas on what he's done. I want to make sure, you know, do I need to go back to it so you guys have his handle? So you guys, or did you guys all get his handle down so you can go follow on Instagram? Has everyone got it? Anyone who didn't get it? Okay. And that's his business page, but ready? He knows how important Instagram is. Okay. But guess what? He also has a personal Instagram. So he has two. Let's keep looking at, you know, what I say again is, good artists cheat, great artists copy. Let's go over here. And I want you to see what's happening on the other side, because I've shared these principles with you, right? Now I'm just searching around here. Bear with me while we do this. Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right, let's go back over here. And in some of this, you may say, well, I wouldn't do that, or I wouldn't. And you know what I'd say? I say, well, okay. I mean, the guy's #1. So last time I checked is if someone's doing something, you know, watch this, you guys. Write this down. imitate, then innovate. Imitate, then innovate. Okay. So let's take a look at what he's doing in his messaging. See, he wants to connect with people. He knows this is business. So he's got his family picture here, him and his wife, right? This is important. People come right here. Wow, family man, married. I mean, this is your number one marketing environment, period, end of discussion. Okay. So just he's taking them on a journey in his life. Great. They did that run. And then here we are. This is how committed we are to lending in all 50 states. Office team dressed up in USA themed Halloween costumes today. Happy Halloween. He's humanizing video, big time. Okay. Here he is again. Acknowledging one of his employees. Publicly acknowledge. When's the last time you publicly acknowledged your employees, your processors, your admin, your support people? Again, you can see similar marketing pieces from what he was doing on Instagram. You post the same thing from place to place to place, but take people inside. Here he is again. Stay tuned for a new market update coming later today. Inflation, Goldman Sachs housing report, jumbo market, Fannie Freddie new loan limits, Fed tapering, and what it means for mortgage rates. Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy. But you know what he is? He's consistent. Consistent. Then taking him inside, what goes on with his team, taking his team out, doing things. So here's what I would do. Two things. Follow him on Facebook, follow him on Instagram, and what I can promise you is it's working at a super, super high level, 100%. Now, here's what I'll give to you guys from a productivity standpoint. From recruiting, I'm going to share with you just real quickly in recruiting. For those of you, recruiting is your number one, it's the same thing. Everyone wants to buy, no one wants to be sold. Stop running cheesy offers at people. Educate, demonstrate, inform. On a weekly basis, send something to someone that would help them with their business. Help them before you'd help them. See, no one believes what they're told. They believe what they experience. So here's what I always wanted to do in recruiting and it was the one thing, I never knew how to run a business. I got recruited to a high-level company because I was a good recruiter. And I said, now that my sign-on bonus has cleared and I got this good salary, I want to know why you hired me. He said, because recruiting is the toughest and most important thing to do. I can teach you all the other things. I can teach you all the other things. And here's the reason it worked is because what I have to do is create an experience. I want to demonstrate that I'm a better leader than your leader while you're still with your other leader. I don't tell you I'm better. I demonstrate it. When I sit down and I meet with you, when I make a recruiting call and I'm talking to someone, say, I know you're probably happy at your current company. I just want to let you know if anything changes, we'd love to be your destination. Yeah, I'm really happy. I would never leave ABC. I understand they're a great company. What is it you like most about them? Don't argue with people. It's, the biggest mistake we make is objection handlers. Here's what I want you to do. Number one, remember this in any sales call, empathy. Here's some simple framework in sales. Empathy, base your next question on their response. Always base your next question on their response. Seek first to understand, then be understood. Always restate back what someone says to you. So A, they know that you're listening and they feel important. B, it gives both of you an opportunity for a second time to hear it. C, it gives you an opportunity to internalize it further and prepare the proper next question for them. Simple stuff. And then when you go to move to a meeting, okay, are you open-minded about your business? The three questions that you want to ask someone when they're pushing back if you're trying to recruit. Are you open-minded about your business? Of course I am. Great. When would be a good time for us to sit down for 30 minutes and talk about the only thing that matters, you and your business. Well, why would I do that? Well, here's what I know. If the two of us sit down in those 30 minutes, I would guarantee that we'll both leave with value that we can both use in our business. And you know what? If something changes in the future, we might be the first group of people you'd want to meet with. No, I'm not making a change. Well, are you a big thinker or a little thinker? Like who all here does recruiting? Who's got recruiting on their agenda they got to do? Okay. Listen, it is the highest ROI activity on the planet. And I will promise you this, if you give up on a recruiting call before 3 objections, it's a wasted call. We've listened to hundreds of hours of recruiting calls, hundreds. Are you open-minded about your business? I am. Great. Let's meet. I'm not going to talk about your company. I'm not going to talk about my company. I'm not going to try and recruit you. Stay with me. That's not a bait and switch. That's only a bait and switch if you compromise it in the meeting. Let me ask you this in recruiting. How often has a recruit in a first interview, I'm leaving, I'm done? Come on, like 0.01% of the time. So stay with me. Why fight human nature? I'll watch GMs and CEOs. Did you convert them? Did you convert them? And I said, there's your problem. That's why you guys aren't recruiting, because here's what happens. When you go to conversion too early with anyone, what happens when you go to follow up with them? Ghost. Oh, it's Jim. He just wants me to move over right now. Oh, it's Don. He just wants me to leave right now. So what do? What you do is you talk about the most important thing, them and their business. Well, why would you sit down with me and talk about my business? And why wouldn't you want to recruit me? For a couple of reasons. Number one, maybe over time you'll see value in our interactions or want to join. Or number two, if something changes, I just want to be your destination. Since 1998, this has been the number 1 recruiting dialogue on the phone. But watch this. They say no, and then the recruiter gives up. Well, no. Are you a big thinker or are you a little thinker? Well, I'm a big thinker. Awesome. So what I'm hearing you say is you're both a big thinker and you're open-minded. What would get in the way of us sitting down for 30 minutes and focusing on a conversation around your business? I told you I'm happy at my company. I understand. Watch this, you guys. Always compliment where people are at. Do you know when you say anything negative about where someone works, you're telling them they're stupid? Think about it. You're telling them they're stupid. They work there and you're saying things, well, yeah, but that's no good there. But I heard this and I heard that. They immediately go in defense mode. Don't argue with people. You know something? I can understand. I've heard nothing but great things about your company. And you know what else I love? I love loyalty. It sounds like you're a very loyal person. Well, here's what I know. I don't know. I thought it always made sense to sit down with the competition and see what they're doing. Why don't we sit down and share for 30 minutes? And who knows, maybe in the future we'll work together. Here's the bottom line though. The highest ROI activity for a leader, return on investment, isn't driving sales from your current people. I'm sorry. You can't make someone productive. You can't make a human being productive. You can only facilitate the best condition for them to choose or choose not to be productive. You can train people, you can give them information, but every day a human being has to wake up and decide, I'm going to take action or I am not going to take action, period. End of discussion. Super, super simple. Okay. So here's what you got to know in the recruiting game. You need to treat a recruit just like a lead. You've got to have a drip email campaign follow-up that goes to them once a week minimum. I know because I see the email drip campaign contents that we have our client put out and we get to see the open rates. It's not too much. It's not overkill. See, my question to you, if you're recruiting, here's what I want you to do. I don't want you to recruit everyone. I want you to make sure though that everyone in the market, I'm their first choice. So if you're a recruiter and you leave this Zoom today, I want you to think about this. I'm going to go out and make sure that I'm everyone's first choice if they were to ever make a change. Well, how do I do that? I make massive deposits in the business relationship equity account. If you're a manager, branch manager, you know the challenges that you hear from your LOs. Well, you use those as training opportunities. If you're an LO and you want to market to the consumer, you know what I want you to do? I want you to think about all the interactions that happen with all the people you're working with. Those are your training opportunities. Those are your training. Loan officer should be recruiting real estate partners. That's right. And let me leave you with this. Let me tell you how to land real estate agents. It's really simple. You just call them up. Molly, hey, it's John Cheplak with ABC Mortgage, and I'm quite sure, you guys, I'm sure you probably have a great loan officer that you're loyal to and does really good work. What I want to do is just let you know if there's ever a backup or if you ever have a question, the loan officer is not available, keep me in mind. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to provide you some information on a weekly basis that you might find helpful. Please feel free to reach out to me. Don't go in heavy. They're hit heavy all the time. You guys, it's a long game. And then guess what? Here's the difference maker. Every other loan officer sent them rate sheets and rates and rates and rates and rates. What about the loan officer that every week is obsessed with? What's a strategy or a piece of information I can help an agent with this week, my agent population, that could help them in offer negotiations, that could help them position a property? Okay. Here's how doing ABC can help you XYZ with your next buyer. And you guys, watch this. At ABC Mortgage Company, we no lose it. Everyone wants to buy, no one wants to be sold. Stay in the educating and principle. See, the less like the recruiting business pages that my clients use, they're not branded. They know it's the person that does the recruiting. Okay. They know that, but they're not branded, because when they see branding, I'm not saying hide or, violating laws, but this brand makes them feel sell. Educate, demonstrate, and inform agents, and let them know too. Watch this. And here's how you handle it too. Molly, and by the way, too, if for any reason, and know without expectation, if you need to bounce something off from me, you've got your loyal relationship you're in, know that I'm someone that you can bounce things off of with no expectation. I'm telling you guys, that's how loan officers are winning. It's the law of contribution. Well, yeah, but John, what I do, I keep doing that over and over again. Listen, you get a large enough pool of people, there's two choices in sales: convincing someone or self-discovery. The highest form of human persuasion is through self-discovery. I will promise you that very, very rarely, and you look at Sean and his work, when you guys go back, I want you to look at his Facebook, I want you to look at his Instagram. He stayed consistent in educating. He stayed consistent in informing. He stayed consistent in demonstrating, and he stayed consistent in humanizing himself and taking you inside his world, because everyone wants to know more than just your name and your title. I've got one chat question here I want to answer. Should we send them our social media and YouTube addresses? I don't know that I would send it to them. Here's what I would do is take the piece of content that you create weekly and send from that. Like Facebook Messenger in the recruiting game or consumers, don't send more than 20 a day. It's not creepy. Believe me, we've tested it. Okay. When you're sending something of deposit versus you need to buy from me, you need to do a loan with me. When you make deposits, you don't get crappy feedback from people. When you are educating and giving value. So what I would do is you're going to email, probably when you look at your emails, you send a link with a video from your YouTube video. Okay. Make sure and engage in their social media, engage on their Instagram, engage on their Facebook, whether it's a recruit or whether it's a consumer or whether it's a real estate agent, their business partners you're trying to get. I'm going over. I want to open up with any questions, you guys, because I could go on and on and on. First of all, I hope you guys, keeping it really simple, but I hope you guys captured some good stuff from this. You can take and put into action. Any questions I can answer for you guys? He quiets the crowd.
I have a question, John. Hey, I'm wondering about Reels versus just regular old video, because on Instagram, the algorithm is working in such a way that the Reels seem to be getting more traction. But what's your thought process on that?
Sure. My first thing is always just do it, because my crappy video, anywhere video, is always going to perform everyone's absent video. But now it sounds like you're in it 100%. Reels are getting it, but also, you know, use Reels, but make sure that on your profile that you're putting some stuff up there too. Okay. Yep. Very good. And then Kelsey, but make sure though, like get, you know, if you're doing that video stuff though, just make sure you're multi-channel. Don't rely on one channel. Believe me, the days of attribution, I want people to check their email. Whoa, there he is again. It's not overkill, you guys. Multi-channel is not overkill. Okay.
On the email portion, do you suggest using BombBomb for the quick messaging, or are you?
BombBomb's a great tool, as long as it's very good in the one-off, and maybe under a couple hundred. But if you get too bulk of an email address, the problem with BombBomb is the email service providers are going to put a wall up on it, because what email service providers look at is the weight of the file actually. And
Okay.
so deliverability, and BombBombs are sent in a GIF. A GIF is the heaviest file on the planet. BombBomb's great though. Good question.
I have a question. You said you have a 3-second rule when you send a video or when you do a video, but you didn't mention what was the 3 seconds. So before you name, you said those 3 seconds.
Thank you. Yes, I didn't. I want to hit so much stuff here, and I'm going to try and sink some more before my next call. Very good question. Open every video with a hook. I'm going to tease y'all. This is the video that doesn't work. Hey, Facebook, happy Tuesday. Ridiculous. Now watch this. Tell me if this sounds familiar, and tell me if we're programmed to this in our brain, so that when we do this with our video, we map the same way. 75-year-old man scales the Eiffel Tower, and the tragic results of the accident on the west side of town. Hey, it's John Cheplak with ABC News, and tonight at 5 p.m., we're going to cover ABC and XYZ. We will see you. Please tune in at 5 p.m. Is the market finally going to crash? Hey, it's John Cheplak with ABC Mortgage, and with all the news coming out, we knew there would finally have to be an end to all the good news. And so at the end of this video, I'm going to let you know where the market's going. But in the meantime, let's talk about current space and time, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to educate and I'm going to form. I'm going to educate and I'm going to form. But you see how I hook people? Number 1, hook. Number 2, introduce. Number 3, content. Number 4, pivot. Tell them what to do next. Yara, thank you so much for asking that question. Very good. Hook, hook, hook. I got time for one more, and then I got to zoom.
All right, I'll give you the last question.
Yeah.
John, wouldn't you agree that inviting realtors and loan officers to watch these programs once a month would be a great way to reach out and add value and educate?
100%.
Imagine if all the loan officers in the WMBA had signed up a realtor, and they'd all gotten this content from you, courtesy of them. That would have been a huge contribution.
100%, because also too is if you look at these principles are universal, you guys. They're absolutely universal. So look for ways like this environment. This is a way for you to leverage you. My top recruiters of consumers, recruiters of loan officers, recruiters of real estate agents, they move people to educational, informational opportunities so that they can make a massive deposit. And guess what happens? The unconscious brain feels they have a responsibility to give you something back. And that's sales in 2021 and beyond. So thank you all.
I have 10 pages of notes, and I want to thank you. And I know Jim wanted to chime in here as well with the closing.
Yeah, no, thank you, John. This was fantastic. We appreciate your time, and we hope to have you again for future events. Everybody else who joined us today, thanks. Stay tuned for December's event. And Tanya, awesome as always. Appreciate all of you guys. Happy holidays, and take care.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.